So this is the latest Remnant Fly. This one turned out to be a Brassie type of fly. The thought originally was to do something like a Brassie, but then I thought it would be neat to put a hackle on front. So I actually got a blue Aftershaft feather and palmered that on there, but unfortunately my head cement has gotten leaked down into those barbules. Probably has them stuck together. I'm going to try and separate those. Anyway, I thought it was kind of an interesting concept. I like the Aftershaft feather that I used. I like the blue color for one. I think I would try to find one that was a little bit shorter. I think it would just maybe about a little more than the gap of the hook. So anyway, that is the latest Remnant Fly. I'll get started tying. Start this Remnant Fly, my hook in the vise. I think this is like a Mustad C47, which is a curved caddis hook. It might be a C62. I can't remember which one is the curved caddis hook. This is like a size 16. It's pretty darn small. I'll go ahead and debarb that hook. Make certain it's nice and tight in the vise there. I'm going to attach my thread. For thread, I'm using a Danville 6/0 in black. Now this is going to be kind of like a Brassie fly. Like I said, that, you know, and a Brassie is pretty much nothing but, the original Brassie was nothing but brass wire and some Peacock Herl. So that's really about all this is going to be. I've got some, let's say this is about a medium brass wire here. I'm going to attach it. I'm about an eye length behind the eye of the hook. Attach it right along the hook shank here. I'm going to run this on down the hook shank. And I'm going to run this down deep into this curve right here, all the way back down here. And then I'm going to run my thread back up. Up at the front here, I'm going to put some Peacock Herl on as kind of a thorax. And I'm going to put a couple wraps of a Aftershaft feather. Don't know why I chose blue. It happened to be in my stuff, and I thought an Aftershaft would be about right, and I just wanted to see how it would work. Plus, blue is actually not a bad color. So I'm going to turn this over so that I can wrap this wire in a little easier. I don't mind having the darker thread. If I get a little bit of a gap, it's going to add to the segmented look of the back portion of this. I want to try and keep those wraps in front of each other, but at the same time, like I said, if I get a little bit of a gap, this is going to help. You could put a few more layers of thread down here and have more of a taper in the body if you want. The wrap right there, and I'll secure that wire in. See, on the back side here, because of that curve of that hook, I've got little gaps On the underside here, it's pretty much together, but I got some gaps in there. And that's fine. Like I said, it kind of adds to the segmented look of it. I'm tying some Peacock Herl here for a thorax, but one thing I wanted to point out, in a lot of my tying classes, I point out to people, when you have these little snippets of Peacock Herl like this, especially if you're tying a lot of the Carrie Stevens streamers that have an underbelly, a long Peacock Herl, you end up with snippets about this length. And that's, you can't see all of it in the frame, it's about 3 inches or so. You get a lot of these left over. Save some of them and put them in a little package, because if you ever tie these tiny little flies like this, these are perfect for it. It's just a short little piece of Peacock Herl you would have otherwise thrown away. And here we're going to wrap this in a little bit back here. And we're just going to put half a dozen wraps of this right in here for a little thorax. So those little snippets are perfect for this. Now that can be fished on its own as a little Brassie, but like I said, I'm going to tie this in and get maybe 2 wraps of it. I want to, this stuff is, the rachis on this, if you've never worked with it, is very, very delicate. So what I think I'm going to do is actually cut some of the barbs back on this to give myself something to tie on. I'm using my hackle pliers here to grab the tip of that so that I can stroke those back a little bit and have something solid to grab onto. Give me 1 second. I don't have much room on the hook shank. All right. I'm going to clean that up just a little bit. I'll try and grab that, wrapping backwards a little bit and then forward. Looks like I got it. Got to be very, very careful with this. There's 1 wrap. Yep, I think I'm just going to get 2 wraps in here. I'll try to fold this back. Little hooks and big fingers don't make great friends. And I think I should be able to just pop the rest of that off, not all of it. Surprisingly, that was a little tougher than I thought. Cut that out. And, kind of interesting. That's a little bit long for this size hook, but an interesting idea nonetheless. So a little bit of head cement. Short shore that up a little bit. So there you have it. That is the latest Remnant Fly. Got a little bit of a gap in there. I think that's, and that head cement got down in there. Now I'm going to glue all that together. Now I'll have to pick that apart. Be careful with the head cement. So anyway, there is the latest Remnant Fly. Not my best work, but an interesting concept, like I said. Maybe find a gimp feather that's a little bit smaller, maybe not blue, but that would be interesting to have one on there and do wraps there. So that's the latest Remnant Fly. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned a new pattern, at least a tip or trick here and there. If you'd like to help Dress Irons, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things for the video. You can also head out to dressedirons.com where you can buy flies, tools, stickers, and merch, or you can join a growing community over on Locals at the Dressed Irons Fly Tying Guild. You can also donate to Dressed Irons if you want through the link at the bottom of the description. I thank everybody for their ongoing support, as it really does help the creation of these videos. But what's important is to remember, only fly tying. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.